Hello and welcome to a very special Origin edition of the Monday Scrum. The Origin squads have just come out for Game 1. Are we feeling the excitement already, lads? Brent Reid and Benji Marshall?
Well, I'm feeling good because I sense a little bit of panic in the New South Wales camp. Yeah, I'm feeling good about Queensland's chances.
What panic?
And Benji's a Queenslander,
What
as
panic,
we
though?
know.
I want to know what panic you're feeling.
Well, they got rid of Josh Adokar.
Well, then get
loyal
rid of him.
servant. Well, they did.
Well, that's not getting rid
They
of
get rid of Jakey Trebojevic, loyal servant. I
Mm.
don't know. I just sense a little bit of panic.
Well, Queensland did the same a little bit. Jai Arrow, extended bench.
What
happened to pick
but we
and
lost
stick?
last year.
It doesn't matter.
You don't pick and stick when you lose, Benj.
Well, you did.
Pick and stick when you lose.
I don't know. I think it's going to
You
be
pick
tough.
and punt when you lose.
I think it's going to be tough. I do.
Yeah?
I think
Okay.
New South Wales, they look primed.
Ooh, okay.
All right, well, we'll
Benji
start
is a
with...
Queenslander,
We'll
remember?
start with the Queenslanders, given
I'm a
you're both
Kiwi.
technically a Queenslanders. Reedy,
Man.
let's talk about the side. What did you make of it? I guess one of the big surprises, potentially, Ben Hunt at number 9.
Yeah, I was surprised by that, but Harry he's got an adductor problem. He's been sick with the flu, Harry. Knocked him around a bit late last week, so I'm not sure what the rationale behind that is. I like the team, though. A lot of young guys. I love Cobbo on the wing, Jeremiah Nanai on the bench. I love Ruben Cotter. I was at the game, the Cowboys game on Friday night. Ruben Cotter, I think, was at 60 tackles after about 60 minutes.
Wow.
He looks to me as
Crazy,
though
eh?
he's made for Origin, Ruben Cotter.
I love Ruben Cotter. I actually watched the Cowboys released a bit of footage on social media today of Toddy telling the players that they made Origin in front of the team at the team dinner.
Oh,
It was actually really nice, like to see, when he said Ruben Cotter, they went off, and then Nanai made it, and then even the extended bench guys, like, you should have seen Tommy Dearden's face. He was like, what?
So cool.
Couldn't believe it,
To think 18 months ago,
I know.
he wasn't wanted by the
On the scrap heap.
Broncos.
And that whisper was going round late last week that Tommy Dearden was going to be in the extended squad, and I found it a bit hard to believe, so I didn't actually write anything about it. And I didn't tell Pete Riddell, our Queensland reporter. In hindsight, I probably should have told him.
I know, I love
Is
that,
that-
when it happens, and you say, I was going to do that. Yeah, I was going to bet on that horse when it won.
Yeah, I know.
That's Reedy every week when a story
Hindsight's
comes out. I
20/20.
had that one.
Yeah,
Trust me, I
yeah,
had that
always,
one.
yeah.
I actually think the Ben Hunt selection's a good idea.
Can I say, just on that, I think I mentioned it in the Saturday show that Tommy Dearden was in the mix.
Oh, here we
Oh.
go.
Can we get
We're going back.
Charlie? Can we get the
It's not
Saturday-
relevant,
Can we get
Reedy.
the audio Saturday?
Mate,
Anyway,
Well, we do have some audio, though, of
Oh.
Billy Slater explaining the selection of Ben Hunt
Yeah.
at number 9.
Someone sensible.
Yeah, there's a few reasons behind it. Firstly, we feel Ben Hunt's earned the opportunity to play in the number 9 jersey. He's been the Ron McAuliffe medalist, which is Queensland's best player, 2 series out of the last 3 years. So we feel that he's earned that opportunity. The other thing, Harry's still getting over his groin injury. We feel that he's going to be okay to play. We've got a bit of a luxury there that we've got some versatility with Ben Hunt, and he covers a few different positions, but Harry comes on and just adds that real spark.
Plus, Ben Hunt's leading the
Dally
Dally M's, isn't he? Ahead of Isaiah
leading.
Yeo and Nico Hines.
Yeah, if Reed didn't cut me off, I was just going to say exactly what Billy said about why he'd start Ben Hunt, because he's earned it. But Reedy wanted to talk about his mail from the weekend.
there is a bloke named Cam Smith on the coaching staff. Do you think he would have played a big part in that decision, Benj?
I don't reckon. I think it makes sense to me why, like Harry is, when he comes on, he can bring a real spark. And if you don't have to make all the tackles in the first 25, 30 minutes of the game, the sting's taken out. And what Harry brings and what his strengths are, fit that last 10 minutes and probably the second 10 minutes to start the second half. So I think it's a great selection. Ben Hunt's been amazing. This is his best year, I reckon, by far, under the pump at St. George, talking about being on, big money. I think he's delivered this year.
All right, well, Freddie announced his squad last night, but then this morning, potentially a surprise for some when he named the starting centres. We were expecting that it was going to be Stephen Crichton and Katoni Staggs, but instead it's Jack Whiten and Katoni Staggs, and then Stephen Crichton's on the bench, and Nico Hines, 18th man. What are your thoughts?
I was surprised, really surprised. Only because when you read what all the journos say, you just believe everything they say, So I was just ready for Crichton and Staggs to be the centres. But then the more I thought about it, Jack Whiten, he's built for Origin.
Yeah.
He's one of those players who's just so tough, does his job. I know he's been playing 5'8", and people would say hasn't been as good as he was in the year they made the grand final, but he's a great centre. He's done some great things there. I think his carries are strong, his defence is solid, and he's tough. And they could still pull a little swifty, though, before kickoff.
Oh.
You just don't know.
See, I like this because I bagged them about their loyalty before to Josh Adokar and Jakey. But
they stuck with
Jack's
Jack,
been in and around that squad
Yeah.
for a long time now. And if Stephen Crichton had leapt over him to take the centre spot, I think that would. I don't think that rewards Jack for what he's done. And, yeah, Jack's been essential, even though he's been the 14 last year. He's been really important to
They
that
love
footy
him, though.
team. And you're right, he's so physical.
Yeah.
He's made for Origin. You know, we talk about
He
guys
is.
who are made for Origin. He loves it. You know, he
loves the
going
physicality.
hard, Jack. So, no, I like him. I like that decision.
Given they are starting with Jack in the centres, were you surprised that it still wasn't Nico on the bench and Stephen Crichton got that 14 jersey?
A little bit, I think, a little bit. But again, Steve Crichton's been around the squad, and Nico,
And Nico
Hines
was in the
hasn't
squad
been.
last year.
Well, Steve's been there longer, hasn't
Yeah.
he, from memory?
Yeah.
And he probably, and you know, even though Steve Crichton doesn't cover as many positions as Nico Hines potentially, you've got Jack there, so you could just stick Steve Crichton in the centres, and Jack suddenly covers all
He
those
goes
positions.
in the halves.
So
Cameron Murray can play a lot of positions
Yeah.
as well. You know, like I was more surprised at Tyson Frizzell not making it and Tarek Sims making it, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I don't think Tarek has played as good as what he was going last year when he played Origin, but he's made for Origin too, though. That's his fit. Did he play 80 minutes last year in that last game?
I think,
I think he
last
did.
game?
so,
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's built for it, but I was just surprised, like, obviously with the loyalty part as well. You know, Tyson didn't get picked. But time will tell, and it's only game one. You know, we all know that game two things can change pretty quickly, especially if you don't get a
You
result.
need a squad, don't you?
Yeah, you
need
do,
a
mate.
squad, yeah.
Well, it's always exciting to see the debutants get told and then their reaction when they're first interviewed. So let's take a listen to Stephen Crichton's reaction.
Yeah, it was pretty nerve-wracking. I was on my way to church practice, and I just seen his caller ID come up in my car while I was driving. Had mum in the car, and pretty crazy. So nervous to answer it, but ended up answering it, and told me the exciting news. And I just remember mum breaking down. She just started crying, shed a few tears as well. After that, got to church and told my dad, which was good, and that's how it went.
Isn't that beautiful? You love to hear the reaction of the families as well because it means so much to them. And it's great. I mean, he'll feel right at home given they've got a stack of Panthers there as
How
well.
many Panthers were there in the end? 6, 7?
7?
7 pound, wow.
Well, they deserve it.
Yeah,
They're going good.
yep.
I love that stuff, though, and that sums them up. Hear the music in the background. That would have been Jerome.
Jerome
the boys,
had the
Bizarre,
boom box.
Boombox,
Yeah.
of course.
It was
you
a
know.
bit loud when you try and do
But how's
interviews.
that?
Any
Yeah,
chance
just-
you could turn it
Just
down?
on my way to church practice.
What was the vibe at
What's church practice? What does that involve?
practicing the hymns? And I think.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
they go practice the songs and that.
Okay, good.
What was the vibe in Coogee this morning?
Well,
Aside from the fact you scared
heard.
everyone off when you and Christian Nicolucci went for a swim.
Got ripped,
No
got our rigs
way.
out. Yeah,
Did
got the
ya?
rigs
Got
out.
it.
Yeah, went for
Got
a
the
swim
rig
down
out
at
in the
Coogee.
eastern suburbs.
Yeah, the water's beautiful. Tell you what,
Is it?
it's a bit cold when you get in and out, but the water's very nice. Look, they were obviously upbeat first day of camp. They're all very, guys are happy to be in the team, and it's very upbeat and positive. And I think they know they've got a big job ahead of them. I think there's a sense this Queensland team, they're ready to go. They're
What, a sense in Blues
I
camp or a
think
sense
so.
from you?
No, well, from me, obviously, but I reckon Freddie realises he's got a big fight in his hands, and I think I know he doesn't underestimate Billy Slater. Obviously, in his first series in charge, I know Freddie's got huge respect for him and what he will do as a coach. So I think they know they've got a big challenge ahead
There's
of
big
them.
raps on him though out of
There is.
Melbourne. Like the way the players talk about him when he goes to training, he chimes in and comes up with a lot of their attacking plays and set plays and stuff. So I think Billy's one of those guys. When I played against him, he was always so prepared. And playing All Stars with him, I watched them go through all the video of every player on the other team and see what their strengths were, and then come up with like a plan to counter attack their kicking game. Or he was so good. Like, as a
Really?
player, he was almost a coach.
Yeah.
So you can understand why he's going good. But yeah, I wouldn't think because he's inexperienced that's going to hurt him too much. They just got to get him up to play. It's Origin. They know how to play.
So we've got an exciting 6 weeks ahead. And while most of the focus will certainly be on the Origin arena, we've still got club footy ticking along. There's always storylines. Brent Reed's always trying to sack someone. And it looks
It's a bit hard.
that,
Yeah, that's harsh.
well, okay, sorry. Journalists in general,
That's him.
not just you.
Yeah, not just me. That's good.
But Michael Maguire,
Mm,
what's the latest? I mean, we've been talking about this for 18 months now, really.
yeah.
But is the whole saga coming to a head the next couple of weeks?
Well, I've said this before, so I hate to say it again because it was wrong last time, but I get the sense that by this time next week the Tigers will have a new coach. I think, obviously Tim Sheens came out yesterday and spoke about, a review and a recommendation going to the board about the way forward. And everyone you talk to, the sense is that the end is nigh, basically. So, I think they've won 6 of their past 20-odd, 3 games this year, 5 or 6 of their past 20-odd games. And on pure results, it's hard to argue that there shouldn't be a change of coach.
Oh, it's disappointing because I've actually seen genuine improvement from him this year.
Well, until the weekend, Benj. I mean, you're right. The last few games, the last month or month and a half, I thought they've been really competitive. But
it's been frustrating for everyone because they showed glimpses of really, they beat a couple of the top teams this year already, like Parramatta. But then on the weekend, they were dominating the first half, and then the second half, just so many things went wrong for them. The ability to play 80 minutes is hurting them. But yeah, the results haven't been great. It's tough.
Yeah. And they've gone, I think, what have they gone? 9th, 11th, 13th under Madge.
They've gone backwards under Madge. They have.
Gone back. And the key for them is, and this is the big thing, Em, they're about to sit down with Jackson Hastings, Luke Brooks, Adam Dewey, Dane Laurie, and talk extensions. And they're going to want to know who the coach is. Mm. And if Madge is the coach, I'm not sure. We all know about Luke. Luke Brooks has asked, the club has asked to consider a release for Luke Brooks twice in the off season. And I've said it before, I don't think Madge and Brooksy have worked. And, if Madge is still there, I'm not sure whether Luke will be. So, the club's got to make a decision on the coach because it's going to impact on whether guys stay and sign long term.
Has any coaches gone from one coaching job to another club within a day? Because I heard a rumour that the Bulldogs were looking at, I think I read it in the paper.
Yeah. Well, there is a whisper going around that Phil Gould's a big fan of his, and it would be uniquely rugby league if Madge was to be sacked one week and got hired the next.
Gus regularly defends Madge.
Well, he's not a terrible coach. I love the way he coaches. I got a lot out of it. I found the resilience of the way he coached for me helped me play longer. Especially with training hard and stuff like that. If I didn't put in the training that I did, I don't think I would have lasted till the end of last year, So I really like the way he coaches.
But is it not for everyone, Benji? Is that the thing? It's not everyone.
Well, I think the generation of players changed a lot, and I think understanding your players and knowing what they need. But I also don't think they have enough leaders there as well, that can carry out that to just say, well, just get on with it. Stop complaining, and that's the way it is at the moment. So I feel sorry for him because I really think he's a great coach. He's had great success at international level with the Kiwis. Yeah, so I like the way he coaches.
I've said that myself, Benj. I still think Madge is a great coach and will be a really successful coach at the right club. But my issue has always been it just hasn't felt like it's the right club for him.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that is. And maybe it's because of what you're saying there, Benj. Maybe they don't have enough leaders. Maybe the players haven't reacted to his style of coaching. But I think Madge at the right club can win again, can be really successful
again.
It's like
Desi a little bit, right? He goes to the Bulldogs. That didn't work. Then he goes back to Manly and got some pretty fair play out of them. So I don't know, man. I honestly can't put my finger on it. It's disappointing because everyone's in the same boat, but it always gets reflected on the coach. Yeah.
Well, maybe it will work out well for everyone. Madge could potentially go to the Bulldogs, and if that is the case, or regardless of where he ends up, any rumours about who will take over at the Tigers if we get to that situation?
Well, the hot tip at the weekend was John Morris.
John Morris.
Played under Sheensy in his playing days, so that would work
had
well.
Had some success at Cronulla before he was shown the door there.
That's right.
That was the hot tip on the weekend that John Morris would take over.
He also brought a lot of those young kids through from 20s who are now regular first graders who've played 50-odd games, and considering the Tigers is quite a young squad.
You're saying it makes sense, Sam.
Well, he coaches from the book of Sheens as well.
Yeah.
A lot of basics, getting players to understand the game properly first and learn the basics of the game. I like what he did with the young kids at Cronulla. And Cronulla's seeing the profits of that now. Some of those kids coming through now are just hitting their peak. So for me, I think John Morris will be a great fit, and he's played there and understands what the club's about too.
I don't know John that well, but he seems to me to be a really decent human being as well.
Really, really good guy. I room with him on every trip away. Whenever we played away, he was halfback. I was 5'8" when he played at the Tigers. But yeah, he's a really good bloke. down
Good,
to
good
earth.
roommate or get round nude? Or...
So tidy.
Get right nude.
OCD.
Is that what a good roommate
That's not
is?
what roommates do, though.
No, mate.
You always got one roommate who constantly got his gear on.
That's the wrong show, mate. No, he was like really like prepared.
Really?
He had all his shoes in the corner, like
Lined up, ready for the next
lined
day.
up, clothes folded on the
His little
bed for the next
lunchbox
day.
ready.
He don't
What
seriously
were, what were you like?
terrible, mate. I was loose. Whatever. I didn't have a routine. But Bomber, he'd go to the supermarket and look at the packets and have a look what the calories, the sugar intake of all those things, everything.
Well, it works because
He's ripped.
he looks quite good.
Yeah. He's ripped.
If I can say that.
Yeah,
Still
yeah.
playing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he might be the man. I mean, obviously, I think, Cireldo's the obvious one.
Yeah.
Everyone wants a piece of Cameron Cireldo if they can get him.
But again, he'll probably wait until.
Yeah.
What's
Something.
he waiting for? Do you know?
He's
Can I
waiting
ask
for the
what he's
right
waiting?
job.
Well, what's the right job going to be? Because
Well,
how often do coaching jobs come up? Maybe one every 2 years or one every year, maybe talked about.
It's a bit of a cycle, Benji. I reckon every second year there's a couple of jobs come up. So every second. So last year we had none.
Yeah.
This year we're going to have potentially 2 or 3. Then next year there'll be none again. Then there'll be 2 or 3. So
Well, I don't know what do you wait for?
don't know because
but
I
it's
would have thought
risky for Ciraldo, right? If he's the most in-demand assistant right now,
Mm.
can't you wait for?
Who
Like
you
Fitz-
waiting for? Like Trent Robinson to get the sack or something? You'd be waiting 20 years.
the other.
Well,
the
maybe
other,
a club that's more. But again, if a club is sacking a coach, they're never really in a stable position anyway. If they're
Yeah.
getting rid of a coach.
Well, the other rumour that was going around today was that Nathan Brown's on really shaky turf at the Warriors. Now, would he want the Warriors jobs, Cameron Cireldo?
I reckon that'd be a great job to have, especially if they're going back to New Zealand.
Mm.
You know, there's so much talent over there that if you can get it right with the development, you could get some good ones.
Okay.
There we go.
Maybe he's waiting for that job.
Watch this space. All right, time for. Oh, you've been bumped up the order.
Woo!
Time for Reedy's segment.
Reedy's Mail.
I've been bumped up the order, and I've come with audio.
Oh,
No, you haven't.
Because I was at Blues camp today,
are you?
and I spoke to Ryan Madison about his meeting with Wayne Bennett last week. Should we listen to it, Charlie?
That was pretty cool. He's a ball of knowledge, really. I didn't realise how much of a character he was because I've only seen him on the TV side of things, and he's very, very dry and blunt, and obviously doesn't give you guys much. But mate, I had a good old time. It was actually very good, and some of the stories that he was saying was pretty funny. And we had a bit of a chat. He said he wanted me to go there, so I guess the rest is up to my manager to sort everything out.
I've heard you sort of put things off till after Origin's done. Is that you'll park it now until the Origin series is over?
Yeah, well, I kind of parked everything before that, really. I told my manager that he can continue doing his work, but once he has all the contracts in a line and I have to make a decision, then that's when I come into it. Wayne's a good man, and obviously he's got the respect from a lot of people because of what he's done in the game. But Wayne knows that I've got to make a decision on what's best for Ryan Madison, and that's something that I'd have to weigh up when I find out what are my options.
Great throwing to your audio.
Little bit
You're
of-
a host
little
in
bit
the
of-
making.
A little bit of third person talking there from Ryan Madison, which we always love. So anyway, he's got to
Little
make
bit
a
of
That's
decision.
him, mate. He's a different cat.
Yeah.
Matto. That's him, though.
I like him though.
Yeah, I like him. I
Yeah.
like when he does weights. He's got this thing where if you don't look at your arms when you do weights, they don't grow. No, I'm serious. Ask him. You should ask him.
Oh,
That's his
next
thing.
time.
Look at your arms and they grow.
Anyway,
He does have
Oh, they're big.
solid biceps.
Yeah.
You've done-
Yeah.
Thanks,
I
Ed.
think he's got implants.
So anyway, he's going to make a decision at some point. He's obviously, as he outlined there, he's met with Wayne. Wayne's very keen on him. There's a
He would love that. He would, because Wayne would have just stroked his ego, and he loves that, Matto.
Okay.
So he'd be. I reckon he's gone. He's done deal.
Well, the hot tip is that he is Dolphins bound.
Yeah,
but
100%.
we might have to wait a little while. Parramatta are trying to piece together a deal to keep him. But that's not the only audio I've come with. I've come with some
No,
more.
you haven't.
Double
Oh, my
audio.
goodness.
Because I caught up with the man of the moment, Payne Haas.
Wow.
And Payne talked about why, why he's in this contract spat with the Broncos. Charlie, hit it, baby.
Yeah, exactly, and I think everyone else will be like that in the normal world. They're trying to do what's best for their family, trying to set them up for life as well. I'm not trying to set myself up. I'm trying to set up my daughter, but her kids as well, and hopefully, God willing, I can get that for them. So yeah.
So there you go, Payne Haas. It's not
Was
about
that the
Payne.
first time he's spoken?
No, he's spoken before.
Third time, I think.
Well, your man, Danny Weidler, spoke to him last night.
I believe Pete Bedell also did
Pete
at one
Liddell,
stage.
Pete did only a very short interview with him. But
Oh.
anyway,
So to be clear, is it about the money or is it about not winning?
well,
Because I've gotten 2 messages from the things I've seen
yeah.
over the past week. Like he said on TV the other night, it was about being in position for the club to have success. You know, and want to winning a comp, I play to win, not about the money. And then he just told you that
He's
it's
got to
about
look after
making
his
money for his
family.
family.
But it's a bit about. I think it's about both, Benji, isn't it? I mean, he obviously wants to be well paid. Every player does. But he also said today, look, I want to do a short-term deal because he wants to see the club.
Short-term deal. You just signed a 5-year deal to the end of 2024.
No, but he wants to his next deal. He's saying, I'm not happy that I signed a long-term deal previously.
Well, you
My
can't.
next deal, I want to be
So
short-term.
okay. So
Why doesn't he just stay on
It's-
his current deal and wait?
So hang on. So he's not happy about signing the deal that that 5-year deal.
Yes.
But so if he did his knee in the first year and the next 4 years he's injured and can't play, is he happy with it now?
It's a question you have to ask.
Well,
him.
that's what I mean.
I
Like, so
suspect he would
I
be.
always thought
Clubs can't win, Benj. That's the
when
way
I
it
was
works.
well, players can't sometimes too because it goes both ways. But I'm just saying, like in this instance, if you sign a long-term deal, it's usually for security or because you're happy to play for that amount when you sign it. Then the next chance you get to renegotiate that is at the end of that term. But now, what are we in? 2 years into it?
And it's already been
it's-
upgraded once, that contract.
Yeah, I know. It just doesn't work like
Yeah.
that, you know.
No. Anyway,
Okay, so how do you envisage this situation unfolding over the next month or two?
well, his management were due to go up and meet the Broncos early this week, so they might even be there today. I haven't checked when they were going up. I imagine they'll try to resolve it. If they can't, then look, I can't see him leaving this year. But if they can't resolve it, maybe he leaves in the off season.
How tough, though, to keep playing? He was booed every time he touched the ball.
I know.
Not just when he ran on.
Yeah.
Even when he made an awesome tackle,
Took him in goal.
like it was unbelievable. You'd think they'd finally change their tune, but
You know what? He didn't seem too fussed by it today. Didn't seem to really worry him. And I've got to say, for a bloke who's been front page news for a week, he doesn't really seem affected by it.
Yeah, well,
That's good.
look, I've been in those positions too. It's very easy to hide.
Is it?
Yeah.
So he thinks underneath churn.
Well, I saw him after the game next to Renault. He looked a little bit rattled in the sheds. Yeah, that stuff, that hurts a bit when your own fans are booing you. But, I mean, I'm a little bit, confused with this one because if he's allowed to go, this is just going to set a precedence for heaps of other players to want to do the same. You know
but
what I mean?
blokes have done it before, Ben. I mean, Ryan Madison did it at the West Tigers.
Yeah,
what's
well,
the
they
use-
could have dug their heels and said, no, stay.
But
It worked for the Tigers for him to go too, though. That's
Yeah.
probably why.
well, it's got. But I imagine Brisbane only let him go if it worked for them. So if they were able to get someone to fill that void,
But
or,
you're not. He's the best front row in the game, potentially.
he's a difficult one to replace. Yeah, I agree.
Is there any way where they say, well, don't play till the end of 2024?
Well, how could you do that?
Well, you're on contract with us if you don't want to
But
play.
then you have to keep paying him, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, you can say to him, well, you got to fulfill your obligations to play.
Well, they could say that.
Yeah.
And he'll
surely
probably,
it can't end up in
he'll
that
probably
situation.
go to France and play rugby union like Sonny did if that was the case.
Just tossing it
There
up,
we go.
just asking.
Watch
Well,
this
I
space.
got one more bit
Any-
of mail.
Does it come with audio?
No audio
Oh,
this time. But we
okay.
break this
Hit
news
it,
online.
baby.
Break this news online about an hour ago about Adam Elliott. He's going to Newcastle. Adam Elliott at the end of the year signed a 3-year.
Really?
I think it's a 3-year deal up there. Good money, about $500 a year.
500. Wow.
Millie, his partner, is
Millie-
also with the Knights.
But the intriguing thing about this, Em, is Millie's only contracted to
For
the
that-
end of this year.
yeah.
So when Adam goes there, she's actually not contracted for next year. And Canberra are a chance of getting a team in the NRLW, and their priority signing will be Millie Boyle.
But she
must be going to stay.
She would surely stay in
Yeah.
Newcastle if
Yeah.
Adam's
Oh, a
there.
little bit of distance never hurt anyone.
I'll tell your wife that. Benj.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder, Reedy.
Anyway, he's a good signing, I think, Adam Elliott, for the Knights. I think it's a handy signing.
Yeah, he'll be good pickup. I think so.
Yeah. Canberra were quite disappointed to lose him, actually.
That's very exciting.
Mm.
It's good for the girls having Millie as well there. They've recruited well.
Can I say that was a very good mail segment?
Yeah, you were, mate. You were good.
Myself.
Oh,
Hit it,
you know what I
baby.
enjoyed the
With
most?
audio.
Yeah, I enjoyed that the most.
Now the challenge is to bring audio every week.
I
So
like
maybe
it.
you've actually got to do some work on a Monday then.
Oh, I can't. Yeah, good point. No, forget about that.
Yeah.
That was a one-off. Actually, I'll aim to bring audio from Origin for the next 6 weeks.
I reckon you should just go and camp with Queensland.
Oh, mate, how good would that be?
Will you be over in Perth?
No, I'm not getting out of Perth.
Oh, you don't go on the junket.
No. I might try and get up for Kingscliff.
All right, Ben.
Anyway.
Chamis is taking the PlayStation so we can start those tournaments again.
Children. All right. The last game of the round yesterday, the Eels just held on to beat the Raiders. Excellent game from Dylan Brown. He just controlled that.
Benji's man.
He's still only 22.
Yeah, I know.
It's unbelievable.
I know that. Yeah, you know how I know he's only 22? Because he came on my show the other day and he said, hey, can you show me how to do an invoice? And I said, well, have you got an ABN? He's like, no. I said, well, mate, I can't help you. Can you go to your manager? This is going to take too long. No, he's still a kid, eh?
Oh.
But his this season, his form's been phenomenal.
So good.
Like, he's part of the reason that Para's going as good as they are is because of how he's played. I don't think they win on the weekend if he's not playing. His touches were incredible. Some of his runs, his tries, potentially could have scored another couple. But he's just a hard-working kid. Is he off contract soon?
I think he had an option in his contract for next year. He might be off contract the year after, so he'd be a November 1 guy.
Well, I'll tell you what, at November 1, there'd be some people knocking because good halves are hard to come by. You know?
He's on big money there, though.
Is he?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
big money.
I'm not doing his
800
invoice.
plus, I think, from memory.
Yeah, right. I love him. I love the way he plays.
Yeah.
I think he's been great.
He's a good knockabout bloke too, isn't he? Good fun lad.
Great. Always gives you a great interview.
Yeah.
Really polite.
Yeah.
Always, yeah.
I thought Canberra played really well for a beaten team. I think
Jack
that's
Whiten was outstanding.
so
He
good.
did not give up,
And
even until the final minute when the Raiders had their heads down.
tell you-
Jack Whiten.
I'll tell you why I love watching him. Xavier Savage.
Yeah, he's good.
He's so good to watch, and he seems to love playing footy so much. He got rattled a couple of times. He ended up going off for the
Yeah, but he's going to get better with experience, you know.
Queenslander too.
Is he?
Yeah,
No wonder you love him.
another Queenslander. But I love watching him play.
I think they'll
He's
be better.
lightning.
I thought they looked much more calm with Fogarty there.
Yep.
He looked a bit rusty, though, to be honest.
He missed a tackle, didn't he?
Well,
He
just a
was
couple of
sort
things like,
misread, wasn't he?
but that's timing. He's been out all season,
Yeah.
but I think they'll be better off for having him back. What did they win, 4 in a row? Like from where they were to where they are now, it's pretty unbelievable.
I think they'll make the 8, Canberra.
Wow. Is that just now? Because at the start of the year you didn't.
No, I didn't have it at the start of the year. That's true.
Good.
But I've decided they'll make the 8.
Yeah.
It's all right. We should be allowed to rejig our age
Yeah, of
midway
course.
through the
Halfway
season.
through the
Well,
year, yeah.
when you get told to give your prediction, you're only going off the information from the last year.
Yeah.
You know, everyone thinks, he doesn't know.
You think they're a chance of the 8, Ben?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, given Reedy came with audio and had potentially the best segment of his radio career, there's a lot of pressure on Benji Marshall this week.
Benji Marshall. Benji Marshall. Oh, Benji Marshall. Marshall's Law.
Yeah, look, I am feeling the pressure, guys.
Do you have
I'm
audio?
not going to lie. I didn't come with audio, unfortunately.
Benji is the audio, please.
No, I didn't come with audio. But I don't know if you guys watched the press conference after the Titans game on the weekend. Tino Fa'asuamaleaui was talking about the game. They were up 24-10 and they kicked short. And the other team scored and went the length of the field and come back and end up winning. To be honest, I thought the Titans should have won. And that decision probably cost them the game. But Tino come out and he said, it was my fault. You know, I was the leader. I called it. I was chasing the ball. I don't actually think it was his fault. I think someone else maybe caught it and he just chased it. But I liked his leadership and accountability around owning up to the performance and not letting any of his teammates or he stuck up for the coach take any of the blame. And he sort of said, I don't even think I'm going to make Origin because my form has been terrible. Anyway, I sent him a little message after I saw it and I was like, love your accountability and your leadership, but don't be so hard on yourself. His stats from that game is he had like 18 runs at halftime for 200 meters. He ended up with 280 odd. He had 28 runs, like 34 tackles. He was the best player on the field from both teams. But sometimes when you have a good game, you can get caught up in it and forget about you're the leader of the team. But what he did was he took responsibility for his side. And for a leader who's 24, 25, first-time captain, I just wanted to give him a bit of praise for that.
Did he respond to your bench?
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
respond?
he just said, "Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it." And that was after he got selected for Origin.
Yeah.
But he was, he said, "If you got any advice for me, just please reach out if you think I can play better or whatever." But he's just such a nice kid. I don't know if you've spoken to him.
Yeah,
much.
he's lovely. But how much of a burden does having the captaincy add?
People don't understand. Like leadership is, it's a privilege, but it's also a burden and responsibility sometimes. And when you're inexperienced, like I got the Kiwi captaincy at 23, that was so hard because I thought I had to change the way I was. I had to talk more, and you don't have to actually change anything. If anything, you become a leader because of what you do. You just need to learn a few different skills. And I feel for Tino because he's in a team with a lot of inexperience. Their half's probably the most inexperienced in the competition, or their whole spine actually. And he's the guy who has to carry that. And I think that's a little bit unfair for him. Kieran Foran goes there next year, so he'll help add a little bit of experience to that. But I just thought it was really nice standing up moment for Tino on the weekend. The second one was Joseph Suwali. Like everyone was sort of asking, well, when are we going to see this? Everyone talked about the Suwali a couple of years ago. When are we going to see the best of him? He spent a year out last year not playing, and this year people probably thought he started a little bit slow. But from the moment he took that kick in the corner in the air, where it looked a little bit like Israel Folau, I think people started taking notice. But I was so impressed with the way he carries the footy.
Oh, he loves the contact,
Mate,
Benj. 18.
He runs it so hard. The boys at South said when he did a preseason with South Sydney, he was doing that to regular first graders and knocking them over, and they couldn't believe how strong he was. But I don't know, did you guys see the Roosters game on the weekend?
Yeah, I saw the
Did
game.
you see the kick chase he did when someone was on the ground and he came in low and shouldered them back into the end goal at 100 miles an hour?
Yep.
Like the effort for a kid, phenomenal. So finding that balance of being talented as well as having hard work, that's hard. But I really love what I've seen from him. He's going to be, I don't like saying it, but he's going to be a star. And the last one was James Tedesco. Like in a team that's probably copped a lot of flack, the Roosters, for not being as good as what people probably thought they should have been, especially from you, Reedy. He's been the one constant that's been great week in, week out. And on the weekend, he had a try, 17 runs, 203 metres, 9 tackle breaks, 3 offloads, 2 line breaks, 3 line break assists, 2 try assists. Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And that's why he's New South Wales captain. I just want to give Teddy a rap because I think Teddy's one of those players where we've just come to expect him to have that performance every week. And because it's so normal from him, like he doesn't get praise for those performances, but he's phenomenal. Like we got some great fullbacks in our game, but he's always the first one picked for New South Wales and for Australia.
And to think there were weeks even, I mean, sure, Pappenhausen was playing well, but when there were question marks, who would you pick, Tedesco or
Always
Pappenhausen?
first
But
picked.
he'd have to always be.
Always
Not just
first picked.
because he's captain, but because, anytime in the big moments under pressure,
Yep.
he gets the job done.
I
Goes
love him.
good. Goes good.
Yeah.
Is that
That's
hard for you to admit as a Queenslander?
Hopefully not that good next Wednesday, but he goes
I'm
good.
nervous, eh? I feel like we're in a bit of trouble.
Oh,
Where, as in Queensland?
Well, I played Queensland schoolboy, so
Yeah.
technically I go for
Why
them.
do you think we're in trouble?
I don't know. There's something brewing in New South Wales.
Okay.
Mm.
Ooh.
But reverse psychology always wins.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
Underdogs,
Underdogs,
Benj. Always
you
the
know.
underdogs.
Yep.
All right, a week and a half out, you've got to tip the winner and the score.
Queensland will win, and they'll win huge upset in New South Wales, 18-10.
10-10. Benji?
Wow. I'm going to go New South Wales, 24-20.
Good game.
There we go.
That's a good game.
Might let you reassess and give another prediction next Monday.
Or halfway through the
He
game,
will.
maybe.
He always changes.
Yeah. There we go. Highlight of the week was your audio, Reedy. Bring it next
I thought
week.
Benji's segment was outstanding.
It was
my
outstanding.
highlight was a couple of weeks ago when Charlie stepped in as host.
That's because you went there.
Oh, sorry. That's right.
No, love your work. And we'll see everyone next week on
All
the
right.
Monday Scrum.